And thank you. It's another edition of the Chris Brecht State Farm Insurance Coaches Show here on 1360 WOW. I'm Matt Jarvi, along with me, Rocco Dobran. Coach, great to be with you.
Oh, great to be here tonight.
Hey, I just wanted to touch base with the great game against Cardinal. You were right about them. They had some big guys up front. They had some strength positions, but your overall, I think your ability to execute and your skill positions really made for the game, and you guys pulled out the great win.
Absolutely. They had a great offensive line, good quarterback, good running back, and they moved the ball well on us early. And once our defense kind of stepped up and stopped them a little bit, and offensively we struggled the first half, throwing the ball a little bit, and then the second half, Jake Slayton turned on and ended up having a career night. So he went from missing some open receivers to having a career night, the second half. So
what was his tally for the evening? You remember?
I think it was right around 350 or 360 for 5 touchdowns. And I know Tellis had a night. He had a career night with 10 catches and 225 yards. So they like we said, were good up front, and I think we just overmatched them skill wise, and they had a hard time covering our receivers. And finally, in the second half, we were able to take advantage of that, and our defense stepped up and started stopping their run game in the second half. So the combination of those two things ended out in a good result. And I think Jake did a good job of, even though he hit Tellis 10 times, he still hit Anthony Nunes on a nice touchdown and still hit Rice out of the backfield for a nice touchdown. So he still spread the ball around. I think Kiefer had like 6 catches. So we were still spreading the ball around and that kind of thing. And they were just bringing the house, which is a credit to our offensive line. Most of the time they had to, stop 6-7 guys from getting to the quarterback, and Jake did a good job throwing them quick, and they did a good job of holding those guys off for, enough time to get the ball out. So
yeah, all
around great effort by those guys.
It really is. It's something how Jake has come. He wasn't familiar in that position, had not a whole lot of experience there, at least in varsity football, but he's grown into it, and what a position that he's really taken on and performed at.
Yeah, we just got a situation this year where out of nowhere we became a passing team,
Yeah.
Although Zach did come out this week and had a nice night with like 7 carries for 133 yards, and
right.
I think he had 2 catches for 39. But back to Jake, it was one of them deals early in the year where, we want to run the ball, and it just hasn't happened that much, and so we become a passing team, but every week we get better at doing that because that's kind of become our bread and butter.
Yeah. I also looked at some stats that you see online, Ashtabula County. I think Jake is 3rd in passing. I don't know what that 350 yards does to that. Might even bring him up more, but 3rd. And I think Tellis is the number 1 receiver in Ashtabula County right now.
Absolutely. I know I didn't look at it this week either. I know Jake's climbing in the numbers, and Tellis is, I think he's way ahead of everybody in the receiving. And I know for Conneaut, I think he's probably the 2nd leading receiver in Conneaut history right now.
No
with
kidding.
2 games left. I know he just passed up Alex Gerdes with yards and receptions this past week.
Wow.
So, those guys are excited. They still got stuff to play for. They got 2 more games, and they still got some things they want to accomplish. And, try to work back to a 5-5 record, try to work back to a 500 record. And it's been a brutal schedule, but these guys don't have any quit in them. And we'll see how they finish the year here.
St. John's, they got a little bit beat up in that game they played at Spire.
Yeah. Supposedly they ended with like 12 guys, so they can't. They had to cancel the game, and luckily it worked out with Gerard coming here tonight. And
yeah.
We haven't played any PA schools, so it'll be a good thing because I'm sure next year we'll be right back into the mix with the PA schools.
Yeah, more than likely.
So.
I don't know if that's the whole season the way it ends up. I don't think you had one conference game according to what was listed as a conference, right?
Right.
It's kind of an odd thing. But the Yellow Jackets, so they looking ahead to them, they got a couple of big wins over Mercier's Prep. Things changed a lot in the course of a year. Lost a couple close ones to Fairview, and then got thumped a couple times against Fort LaBeouf. So they finished out right there in the middle of that little 3-4 team season that they performed at over there. And I'm glad you had the game over there. Last time I remember going over there to Gerard to call the game. It was the only field we ever seen that didn't have any numbers on it.
Yeah, we saw that on film. Our guys that were doing the down and distance out of there, like, hey, we're struggling doing the numbers. We can't. There's no numbers on them.
Imagine up in the booth trying to call the game too. You're trying to count from the end zone back. But what do they try to do? They have been kind of a running team, but they've had quarterbacks where they get into a throwing situation too quite a bit.
Yeah, they're primarily a wing T team, and we seen a lot of that in PA, but in Ohio we haven't seen any of that. So this will be the first wing T team that we see this year, and they just got some big bodies and big kids up front. And their quarterback definitely is a great athlete. He's a kid that can run the ball, and then he can stop up and throw it. And with that wing T look, it's tough to know when they're throwing, when they're passing. Who has the ball. The next thing you know, the quarterback has the ball, and when he gets out on the perimeter, he wants to throw it, but if there's any good coverage, he's going to just take off and run. So he's kind of a dual threat, like you said.
Yeah.
Great player and some good big guys up front to lead the way.
I noticed in the schedule, it looked like they were scheduled to play Slippery Rock this week. Did they opt out of the playoffs to not play in that game and go do an independent?
I really don't know exactly the details. Our AD got the game for us, and I don't know. There's a lot going on over there, just like over here with playoffs and who plays who and who's playing when. So it's kind of that deal.
Yeah. Well, what you look at, just keep your game plan together the way you played it in the past and go up against the Yellow Jackets that way?
Yeah, I think so. The biggest thing we want to do is spread the ball out. We don't want it, they might have something for Tellus the night after a 10-catch game they saw on film. They might not. I don't know. But we got to at least be able to say, hey, Zach Rice needs so many touches. Nooms needs so many touches. Kiefer needs so many touches. And really just spread that ball around because all those guys can make things happen once the ball's in their hand.
Yeah.
And if we can keep them honest with that, then Tellus will still have his big day. And then just keep playing defense the way we played it. I just hope we don't get confused out there with the misdirection stuff that, since it is the first time this year we're seeing that wing T stuff. But I think if we control the ball and, win the turnover battle, I think things will be all right.
Well, overall this year, any thoughts on it, on how you would look at it? I mean, it's been a trying year in a way. Not as many wins as you're accustomed to, but successful in some ways. You played JFK to a 6-0 game. You played Cardinal Mooney pretty tough until the very end. It was 20-7. You had a couple opportunities to climb back in that game, but overall, I there are some really high points to the game and the programs you had to play this year.
Yeah, I'm just really proud of our kids just sticking in there, and like you said, it was kind of a tough schedule, and these kids were all first-time starters for the most part,
right,
coming in, and their attitude this year has been great. Every game they're in, they fight to the end. They don't really look at the scoreboard, and it's been a fun year coaching these guys, especially amidst all the COVID stuff. I mean, they had great attitudes. I've had zero problems as far as disciplining kids and kids, just doing things that kids do. But I've had very little of that, and so in that way, it's been just a fun year. It's been a fun group to teach, and I think they're having fun enjoying the game instead of just trying to. Sometimes kids and coaches get too caught up in the record. They're having fun playing the game of football, and I appreciate that. So
that is great, yeah. Coach, wish you best luck tonight against the Yellow Jackets.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And kickoff's coming up here in just a few minutes, 7 o'clock. This has been another edition of the Chris Brecht State Farm Insurance Coaches Show here on 1360 WOW.